Lately, I'm a bit out of the loop in a lot of matchups now that Lethal Tempo's gone, and like Conqueror's been nerfed like 5 times in a row or something. So like I'm actually like not, I'm not totally confident in a lot of these things anymore. I went Grasp because I wanted to just like build defense and outscale the Garen and like be fine. But he ended up letting me get ahead. Right. So what happened? Yeah. So I feel like we knew this was happening, right? So she does all this because I remember checking. First of all, I wasn't aware that doing all. She left the mini one. Okay, that's why she had 11 and not 12. I was like really curious as to how she has 11 farm here after doing 3 camps. So she goes in here. I see, I see. And she did Gromp first. Okay, like messing around. Okay, okay. Now this the saddest part about this is that I just killed my laner, but it did leave me at like 50 health and no condition to fight. So while I ended up like winning top lane, this actually doesn't give her the ability to just like I don't actually have any priority. Got that. Kindred did, right? No, wait, somebody smited and it wasn't Kindred. Yeah, yeah. So like I remember I was coming in here after this was all done. I was really confused as to how Briar had 20 CS and has Smite. I mean, of course, they should both have Smite. But she's also a full camp ahead, which doesn't really matter in this, right? Because they're both level 3. It's not like that camp is helping anyone. Although she does have all her abilities, and Kindred doesn't. And, like, Briar's always going to kind of beat Kindred, probably. But she gives it to... Yeah. After all this, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think the invade does make sense, but you're supposed to just do blue instantly. So, what I imagine happened... Because, like, if I go through... Okay, like, if I go all the way back... Because we did see them invade. Vision for red side. Yeah, so we saw them invade. And, yeah, what does it look like they're doing? There was a fight. You see Briar even. And she's, like, on this side of bot lane, not even, like, here. So, she's, like, in everybody's mind, that's, like, she's definitely starting in this side of the map. We've warded this. So this is what I think is happening. I'm gonna justify Kindred's thinking. And then I think I'm gonna explain why it's simply incorrect anyways. Even though there's... Okay, so here are the these are the possibilities, okay? In our heads, right? They're starting our blue, which is actually pretty unlikely, given that Balling's showing here. Actually kind of unlikely that she's doing our blue. But it's possible. If she's being quite reckless, she could be doing our blue, which I think she actually is doing our blue. But oh well. Doing our so she could be doing our blue, or she's doing her red, and then since we have a ward here, and she doesn't show on it because we know she's somewhere else, which means she's gonna do Rugs into Raptors. Now, if this doesn't happen, if we don't see her on Raptors, it means that she's doing something else other than Raptors, which means that her path involves something on our bot side of the jungle. Okay? So, it's actually somewhat correct to assume she's not doing our blue. Somewhat correct to assume she's not doing our blue, based on how the enemy team is posturing. But, the idea otherwise would be that she's doing our red, and she's either going straight into our jungle this way, so that she doesn't get seen. She might not get seen, actually, if she goes that way. She's going straight into our jungle and doing blue. Now, what would she do after that? I mean, she would do the rest of it, for sure. She would do the rest of it. The other thing is that, like, she does red, rugs, and then comes into here, and then she would do the rest of it. I don't see a world where Kindred does something and then beelines it to her top jungle. The only world where that happens is she starts blue, does her red, and then goes straight to here. Or even just blue straight to here. And for that to happen, we would have to, like, they would have to see Kindred somewhere. They didn't have anything, like, warded, right? Doesn't seem like it. They didn't have any wards on our top side, and I feel like we could have discerned that. So, like... It's a little weird that Briar doesn't go to do our wolves next, but she does do this. Did they just put that ward down? Just put that... They just went... Oh, jeez. Now, look, there's not really another option. Like, she should go into here no matter what. But, like, so we know this is warded now. What does Kindred have? The ability to go over this wall. What does she do? Not that. So, we see, when they see Kindred... on the ward. Let's see if Briar changes what she's doing. Doing red. I mean, she's frenzied. Okay, so we see that. Obviously, this is going to make her want to go into her top jungle right away. Because Yeah. So that's unfortunate. If she simply snuck around, she probably doesn't go right away. But then, like, so what I imagine is that Kindred's thinking that she's gonna check the wolves a bit. She's gonna catch Briar on wolves. Now, if she does actually catch Briar with her cooldowns used, because obviously Briar always starts the camp using her W, she is actually quite vulnerable. Quite vulnerable. Of course, mid doesn't have pressure, but like they can't. It's like it's kind of like she really does have to go in here, but she just has to know that she can do blue and then decide from there. I mean, she has smite. Like that's what it is. She should do blue. Does she have a trinket ward? No, but like she has smite. And like if she does the blue, there's no way the enemy jungler gets in time to like smite it, to get it, kind of thing. There's no way. Like it's pretty easy. Like even like you trail the blue up here, maybe even over this wall these days. That's probably what you do. You bring the blue over this wall, so that you can't even see it from this bush, and then you go back around it. Yeah. But like you can also go, you can drag it up here and then fight it, and then go back and fight it from this brush, so that you can see when they turn the corner, and then you get to smite. Yeah, jumping over Herald Pit would have taken her like another 5 seconds, but that like should be the plan. I have to imagine she just like wasted the ability actually. But yeah, she like wants to catch her here. And what does this mean? That Briar's not here right now. This means that probably her whole top side is gone, and that she's just doing her bot side right now. Right? Either she started in your jungle and is now pathing up, or she started in bot jungle and is now pathing into here. That's what I assume she thinks this means. Weird thing, even if that is what she thinks, you would just do the wolves, right? Of course, Garen is on the way. They could send Garen in, which they should, probably. Maybe, I don't know, Garen probably wants to get straight up here and catch all this back, but like, because there's a cannon wave, so it won't all be gone. So it is just, that's tough. And then like, I don't understand, we're saving E for now so that we don't have to smite. Not to mention, that auto attack was delayed. It looks like she almost did the thing where like she fights it up here and then she goes this way. That's quite tragic for her. And if you look at the vision for her as well, a Briar almost comes out of nowhere. Yeah. That's actually, that's not so crazy that she didn't react and smite that. Looking at that, that's kind of nuts. What did Briar, oh, she took the cone over, yeah. Didn't land in the bush, but like, she wasn't, that's just too bad. But I think I can understand what she was thinking, but like, it's also just, it wouldn't even be, yeah, like, she didn't even do the correct thing, I think. So that's, you know, unlucky. Especially bad because top lane and mid lane are not in a position to help at all. So yeah, that's too bad for her. And then she seemed to keep going in there on repeat, which I can understand, thinking that that's what you have to do, but that's tough. Okay, let me lay it down for you, okay? Maybe I should pull out the replay. Okay, let me break it down for you, alright? It's important not to lose your cool for various reasons, various reasons, okay? Because if we count the number of times that this Kindred goes and invades because she's behind, it's unsettling. Here we go. Name is Jungle Man. Did he invade this at level 2 over 3? Yes, he should. He should be going down here. In reality, he should be like doing the red buff and then going straight into here. That's what I think. He should be going straight into here and then cleaning these up afterwards. That's the option that like beats everything. That's the best one. Whether he thinks, yeah, like he should. So this is not great. So yeah, she's invading here, blah blah blah. Let's count the next time she does this. Start blue buff? Nah, she should start the red and then jump in. Look, the best, obviously the best thing, that doesn't involve like a weird fight in the jungle with the enemy jungler is that she does start her blue. Obviously that's the best, but there is an option Briar has that's like, it is like okay against that, right? Like there is a way that turns sour. I'm not sure if I should go into explaining that. Even that's like a fringe case. But like, you do, like if you start your own red and then go in to take her top side, and then if you encounter any resistance, you either full clear it, or if you encounter some resistance, you can go back and then path down from here. And if you encounter resistance, it means that she didn't do your bot jungle. So that's all going to be there. And essentially, you will have stolen her blue, and you're going to get the rest of your jungle. Which puts Briar on the back foot. But yeah. If I see... Hold on. I need to double check how we ended up here. Okay, yeah, she went in for her mark. Did these things. Looks like she did wolves and then Gromp. Oops, I'm like pressing the arrow keys. Like, she gets her mark somehow, which almost certainly is grief. Like this, I feel like she shouldn't get away with this. This is quite fortunate for her. Understandably, she did say that I have to invade, else I fall behind. Does not kindred marks work? No, it's not. That's not so crazy. I would say that's more on Orianna, because the best thing for Briar is that she does the Krugs, and then she gets to clear up and whatnot. And all Orianna has to do is just hover the camp, because she wasn't getting shoved in at the time. Like she had, like there was no pressure. In fact, she could even finish the push here and then just go protect the mark. Right. I'm not sure what it looks like for her, because it looks like the camp spawned and the mark just like appeared there right away. But like this is like if you have UAV, if you're playing like this and you're just like hyper focused, the mid laner here, keeping track of everything, or if you're just like Elite 500 on a regular day, then you're thinking about protecting this, because this is like something psychopathic the enemy jungler could be doing. I don't know. If Orianna just protects that at no cost of her own, literally at no cost of her own, Orianna doesn't miss anything for watching this. It's already happened. She gets this, and then she goes back, enticed by that caster minion. Now you go watch. It looks like she kind of did. Just slow. It was just slow. Like she should have finished pushing the wave earlier and checked. But like that's pretty. You're not gonna see anybody thinking like that, really. In fact, was that pinged? Like, how did she even know to do that in the first place? Is it just the mark showing up? It might have just been the mark. Yeah, I think it was just the mark showing up. So, honestly, she probably was thinking about it. It's just the camp spawned and the mark spawned on it, like, instantly afterwards. That's what it looks like in the replay. I don't know if it was actually like that. I don't know if, like, Kindred is, like, if this is, like, some Kindred tech, that it's going to be the Raptor camp mark here or something. Like, anyways, does that. It's probably like that in the game. I don't know how. I've never bothered to learn the Kindred Mark tech. It probably wouldn't take that much to learn it, but like really, that's cool. I did the dragon. It's all gone still. Ooh, no, thank you. Shame. I'd like to think this guy would have subbed anyways, but it's the second time I've gotten an anonymous gift like last few weeks as well. It's got to be the same guy. All right, so we're invading for reasons. I feel like I could have done this better. I do quite... I mean, it is... I feel like if I just, like, flashed that... Oh, I didn't have flash. If I had simply even... I felt so sad. Because, like, I should have been... I was big there. Like, I was 6 to Garen's 5. Well, does he get Gromp mark? When? Oh, right. Just now. Looks like it. But, like, I don't know if it's showing up. So he's invading. The point is that you look at how much he's invading. He knows how to play Kindred at least. I don't know if you could say that. I mean, I feel like Kindred doesn't take too much. And at the end of the day, it's just about the decisions you make, no? Maybe that's where I'm at. And then he goes and invades. Again, Eyes comes in, invades, basically alone. Does get the blue. It's actually like not working out terribly for him. He's invading a lot. Over and over and over again. And he said that he has to invade, else he falls behind. I'm kind of looking... Well, okay, see, this is what I want to clear up, because obviously he thinks he's right too. But I want you, for a moment, to think about what else he can do to get back into the game. And I'm going to spoil it right off the bat, getting rid of the easiest answer that's not correct entirely. It's not get kills from ganking. It's not that. It does end up in here again. It's not. Is it still invading time? I don't think it's invading time. Done with that, right? Now I just want to double check. Here we go. Back here. I want to see how much Briar invades. Because I was operating under the idea that he needs to invade because Briar is taking her camps, so she needs to like mirror that. So I want to double check how often Briar's gone and taken Kindred's camps. You could always go for it. Okay, but what if you get repelled every single time? Like, because it's quite predictable to play like that, no? And that's dangerous. Like, it's one thing to play predictably, and it's another thing to play predictably in a way that can be punished. Go open? Yeah, you're so much worse than if you had just not... Briar doesn't even invade, like... What is CS here? Weird. How is she even that behind? Maybe just, like, dragon scuttles in that one camp? It's only like a 14... It's only like 3 camps difference. That crazy. Yeah. The thing that I'm thinking... See, what I wanted this to be a lesson about, like, when you're getting gapped in the jungle. Alright, if you're against a jungler that's just walking in and taking your camps and you can't fight them back, what do? Unfortunately, that's not exactly what's happening in this game. I assumed it might be, which is why she was trying to invade so much, but... What you would do, and she can do this for her invades anyways, what you actually do is before you invade, let's pick the second one, because the first one was kind of whatever. It's already happened. What you can do instead, your mid laner might not be super happy about this, but if they're Seraphine, they probably wouldn't even mind that much. What you do is you find a lane that's close, and you help them shove the wave so that they can invade with you. Now, if it's your own camps that you're getting stolen from you, what you can do is you can go to a wave, you can go to a lane, help them shove in, and have them help you get your own jungle camps. So you would have to do that preemptively before they spawn. Now, most people aren't thinking when their camps are spawning in 30 seconds, they're not thinking about how I'm going to secure them. But when you're behind and you need to worry, like, I'm sure this has happened to you. Your camp's like spawning, and like you already know that it's a risk for you to take them at all, because like Kayn or Nidalee's gonna walk in and they're gonna murder you and take all your camps. So like you need to be thinking. You gotta remember, every time you full clear, which is like the name of the game these days, everybody wants to full clear because it's like pretty good. Normally, what people think is that you full clear and then you have about 30 to 40 seconds to gank a lane, reset, and then go back. Or reset, gank a lane, and then go back to your full clear. You have about 30 seconds to do something before you need to go back to when your camps are spawning. So, if you're worried about your camps getting stolen because of the jungle mismatch, if you're gonna get rolled by the enemy jungler invading you, what you should do after the full clear is not anything for the 30 seconds. You should go home. You should help. Let's say you want to go from Gromp, you're full clearing from bot side to top side, go to your bot lane or your mid lane, whichever one makes the most sense, and you help them shove, and then you go do your own camps. You get You get the priority first. That's what you do for your 30 seconds. Now in solo queue, that's pretty complicated for your laners to know that you are helping them get priority and that you need shadow. So ideally, the bot lane, you would get them the shove, and then the AD carry would back for a reset, and you would ask the support to come guard you while you're doing camps. That way the AD carry gets a good back, support only has to get, support back's not too big of a deal, and you might even have time for it anyways. Because honestly, when you shove in a lane, especially bot lane, they've got like a whole minute and a half before they have to show up here. Maybe not a whole minute. They got like a whole minute. They got so much time. They got so much time. Because all they have to do is show up here when the wave is crashing. And normally that's the best thing to do anyways. Because that means that you can't like get caught with your pants down, coming back to lane here, double waved, jungle camped, and then this all goes to zero. So that's what you do. You get the priority for your lane that makes sense, and then you get them to shadow you as you jungle. They don't have to shadow you for long, right? It's just like this camp, honestly, like pretty much just Gromp. Because then you go to Wolves and it's like, are they going to walk in you at Wolves? No, you can like leave halfway through the Wolf camp. Nothing's going to happen to you. Like, it's too much, Like, half the camp is done and then you start walking back, and the worst case scenario is that somebody shows up and then you're like here anyway, so you just walk in. But most of the time, especially in somewhat of a higher elo, is that, well, maybe I should take that back. The good junglers, the consistent junglers, are going to see that their lanes don't have priority and not invade. Now, what's more likely to happen is you get somebody to shadow you and then they invade you because they're monkeys, absolute apes. And then you have a 2v1, and then you like kill them, you know? And then the enemy jungler's tilted, and they probably just perma-invade from that point on. And as long as you keep this mentality, this mindset, this strategy in mind, then you're gonna repel them every time. Unfortunately, Kindred's a bit awkward. She's looking for marks in the enemy jungler sometime. But either way, the correct thing that has no weaknesses, I should say, is that you prepare a lane in advance by getting them priority, and then you invade for the mark. Let's say. Now, I don't know the Kindred tech, okay? Maybe there's like a way to know when your mark is going to be in a certain place, which would then mean that you have to prepare a lane in advance before the enemy even knows the mark is going to be there. For instance, if you know the mark is going to be at this Gromp, then maybe you need to be preparing mid lane or getting top lane prio, and then we can go towards that so that the enemy team doesn't react to the mark going there. Because let's be honest, I can understand, like, I can get behind the Kindred knowing where the mark is going to be, but that should be like the only person that knows where the mark is going to be like that. Like, kudos for that. But like, that's the skill that the Kindred main should be bringing, and then using that information should be able to set up a safe way to get that mark after. This is at the cost of a little bit of shared experience in some of the lanes at times, but it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. Because a little bit of that experience for a Kindred mark is certainly fine, certainly worth it. And then the added benefit of if the enemy makes a mistake, you're already set up to punish them. Like if they do something they're not allowed to, and like if you punish them one time, then any cost, like a little bit of shared experience, is immediately worth it. Problem is, it takes time to set this up also. It's a good thing you get like 30 seconds after you full clear. That's what I'm saying. Especially early, you won't have time to do this stuff. Your lanes are just too weak in the 2v2 anyways. You gotta be cognizant and see which one makes the most sense for you to help get prio. It's very unlikely, pretty unlikely, that every single... obviously, it's your job as the person here coming up with little jabs in the strategy. Coming up with reasons why you're attacking it, and that's good. But because there are so many ways to try and poke a hole in something, it's your job to also come up with a reason why or a way to beat that. And that's how I got better. That's how I think everybody should get better. That's how you improve on yourself. You try to find a weakness in a strategy, and then you find what beats that. And then you find what would beat that, and you find what would beat that. It's very common in competitive games. Especially when they're like a 1v1 scenario, but they're not at all exclusive to those. Like if you're playing StarCraft, I know, okay, specifically, nobody's gonna get this, but like if you're playing Brood War Protoss versus Protoss, it pretty much boils down to, if they do this build with a Reaver, just excuse the words you don't understand. If they do, there's like 3 builds, alright? And if they do this build with the Reaver, it beats this build with the Zealots, which beats this build with the Dark Templars, which beats this build with the Reavers. Unfortunately, that mirror matchup in StarCraft Brood War, Protoss versus Protoss, is most often boiled down to that rock, paper, scissors. And you only have like an actual game when you end up doing like the same thing. Now, and like if you're playing a fighting game, this is like always what you're doing. You're like, okay, they did this to me on block, this is my punish, you know? If they do this to me, then I can counter them with this. And then, but if they're like, if they do this, then I do this. If I do this, they can do this. So if I instead don't do that, but I pretend like I am, and they do this, this is what beats that. You got to stack things on top of the heap, and eventually you come to something that beats most of the things, and then we call that the meta. It is a meta. But meta is supposed to stand for like most effective tactic available, or something like that. Or you can flip the game. That's right. All right, so that's that. My Discord.